Welcome to another episode of the Financial Armor Show. My name is Jose Rodriguez, investment advisor here at Cooper Financial, and your host for today, alongside my co-host Jaclyn. How you doing?
I am super good today, Jose. I feel like, we're coming off of a holiday weekend, 4th of
Mm-hmm.
July. So, Jose, what did you do to celebrate?
I think I mentioned on the last episode, and not to. I mean, we're just taking the first couple minutes to go back to the grass saga.
Okay,
Uh,
yes. We
I
have
did.
to.
I did all that, and by now, I think when it's been 9 days since I recorded that last episode.
Yeah.
9 days. So I'm starting to see grass. So I'm starting to get real good at this thing of growing grass,
Wow.
even at really poor conditions here.
And
Uh,
how many lawn chairs have you gone through? From
I
sitting out
have
there watching it.
actually. I need to bring some videos of me doing this, where I just
Yes.
walk out there with my hands on my, like this, like a full on dad mode, just surveying the scene for like a minute or two. Kind of kneel
Uh,
down a little bit. You look real close. I see a little bit
yeah.
coming out. Like, okay, cool. And then I go back in. And I do the same
Oh.
thing after I get off work. So, so
Okay,
it's
so
not like I sit
for
there and watch.
For our listeners and viewers today, we were literally just chatting about how you are in your dad mode and how you have been. You grill and you stand there and watch. You are a very young dad mode to the core. I mean,
Old
there's no other
person.
way to explain it.
Yeah, and that's why I connect with a lot of my clients because they're usually way older than me. And I've
Yes.
always been, I act 20 years older than what I am. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
so no, so that's what I did, and watched a lot of World Cup. That's what
Yes.
that's always, that's been my life for the past couple of weeks. It's coming to an end here soon, so kind of depressed about it.
When does it end?
Well, we have 4, 6, 7 more games, and there's no games today. We're recording this on a Wednesday, um, and there's no games today. And then there's going to be a couple more games here in the next couple days, and then yeah, the final is I think next week or in 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have to see, who are you rooting for?
Um, well, the U.S. and Mexico are out. Um, I really like Norway
Okay.
because there's this player called Holland, Erling Holland. He is, uh, uh, I think 6'5", 210 pounds, and when he runs towards you, he looks very scary, and he's and he's a very good player, and so I'm following him a lot.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that the final is going to be Norway against France, and then
Okay.
it's going to be 50-50 there. It's probably going to be France that's going to win, but that's my prediction. Put your
Okay.
bets in now.
Yeah, I like it. I will I'll I'll agree with you because I
Okay.
don't know much about it. So, Jose, I apparently need to be paying you some money on this. But
If you win the bet, yeah, it's 100%.
well, I mean that sounds like a great weekend. I know I just kind of was low key this weekend. It was a weird
Mhm.
4th of July here. We had some really bad storms
Mm.
come throughout. And so it was kind of off and on, and I was like, I'll just get some sun. And then I played sand volleyball, which I love. I play every week. But
Mhm.
I cut the bottom of my foot this week.
On what?
On It was like a little piece of concrete, like a little chunk in the sand,
Ooh.
and of course, you don't know that when you're playing, and so I just cut it, and I was in a lot of pain, but the adrenaline kept me going, and now I feel like I'm in more pain after the fact because I'm not sweating playing
Yeah,
volleyball.
adrenaline, yep.
Yes,
Mhm.
but I am extremely thankful. I feel like a little, rock of concrete or whatever is a lot better than a nail or glass. So I will
Yep.
take it.
Yep, yep, and also be grateful you can play volleyball, sand
Yes.
volleyball, because if we try to do this now, you won't get, cuts, but you'll get burnt on
Yes.
your feet,
Yes.
not from the
Also
sand.
very true. Also very true. So, what you're telling me is that you need to come to Minnesota so you can
Hmm.
play volleyball with us.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty good. I'll beat anybody. I'm actually really good.
Then when are you coming?
Actually, I don't know. I haven't been there since I haven't come to Minnesota since I think it's February last time I came. I forget,
Okay.
but I'll be there soon.
Well, let me know and you'll play on my league. We do a Friday night league, like a little
Okay.
bar sand volleyball league,
All
and
right.
then we just play for fun on Mondays. So you can make either a Monday or Friday.
All right. I love it. I love it.
Well, Jose, this episode for us today is going to be a little different than our usual, content based episodes. This is more kind of pulling on the emotional strings and the family and legacy. And
Mhm.
you are going to be building off of a story that you are
Mhm.
dealing with a client right now.
Yep.
So why don't we kind of start with the basics of this story and who your client is?
Yep. And obviously, it can't mention any names, but this has been just at a high level. This has been a very hard year for Cooper Financial because we've lost so many clients to death this year,
Mhm.
more than ever. I think this year alone, more than the past 15 years, honestly.
Wow.
And so it's really hard because with I mean, I can't help it, but we spend a lot of time with our clients, so
Mhm.
I get really close with them. And one of my dearest clients passed away a couple of months ago, and we were doing a lot of planning together. She came to every event. She was very personable, and she was very special to me. And I got to meet some of her family as well at the events. She used to bring them all the time. And but she passed away, and now I'm helping the family, the family, you know, distribute the inheritance.
Mhm.
Uh, but now there's a lot of complexities that come with it. In this particular case, it's even more complex than anything that we probably have seen. Um, and there's two main things why it's very complex. And one thing is, and we've talked about this. Etzla has come on the show
Mhm.
and talked about IRAs and how IRAs are probably the worst place to put your money when it comes to transitioning or giving it to your beneficiaries.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one of the reasons why it's a very complex situation from a legal and tax perspective. And then the second is because it's just a lot of beneficiaries.
Yeah.
It is double digits. Um, so there's
What?
a yeah, there's double digits beneficiaries. So we're trying to not only handle the legal side, the tax side, um, but also there's an emotional piece to all of this. I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously for me, when we first had that meeting with the family and the attorney and myself, I was holding down, choking up, but
Mhm.
I promised them that I was going to take care of them and throughout this process. But I can't be a mess when I'm the one supposed to be fixing things, right? And actually doing the work. So that part is really hard, holding in the tears uh, but eventually there will be a time where I can just let it go and be human with the family.
Mhm.
Um, but no, so there's like so much complexity from the emotional side, on the logistic side, and on the tax side. And one of the things I wanted, the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because there is a message here that I think a lot of people should know. It's a learning experience. I mean, it's something that I've learned many times from many different. It's not my first time that one of our clients have passed away, but it's just I feel like people forget what it's like to lose a loved one,
Mhm.
I'm talking in my context of the wealth transitioning to the beneficiaries. Um, and I reflect back to what it used to be like before I was at Cooper Financial. My previous employer was the big bank. where it's very tasteless. There's no real relationship. It's just
Mhm.
transactional, and you're kind of on your own to figure out what you're supposed to do with the your loved one's accounts. You know, if it's an IRA, how are you supposed to distribute that? What are the rules surrounding that?
Mhm.
Um, it doesn't matter. They don't really care.
Yeah.
You're on your
Well,
own.
and I just wanna touch on something because I think a lot of people assume that as a financial advisor, you're kind of from the start to the finish of their life, right?
Mhm,
But in reality, you are there beyond their life because
mhm,
you are now helping their beneficiaries. You are now
mhm,
helping distribute their accounts. So you're not just cut off or done when
mhm,
they are no longer living. You
mhm,
have this series to kind of go through, and I think that's what makes Cooper Financial different, and that's what makes this job different than the last. Because I'm sure
mhm,
at your, just a big, well-known bank, you can you're cut off. You're like, they passed away, so there's nothing that we can do.
mhm.
And this goes beyond that.
Yeah, and the reason that is, as far as on the old um, place, is because there's no way to charge somebody that is passed away,
Yeah.
right? And that's where I think where I sleep well at night. My conscience is, I mean, I sleep very well at night knowing that I've done everything in my power to take care of
Mhm.
somebody. That obviously we need to pay for the bills around, to keep
Mhm.
the building going, but money is not it's not everything, and sometimes
Mhm.
doing the right thing, requires us to do more things than we're paid for, and that's one of the things that I was just talking to another client yesterday, that a lot of advisors just get paid, just do what they're paid to do, quote unquote, okay,
Mhm.
and they don't go above and beyond,
Correct.
and I think that's just a disservice. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a bare minimum. The bare minimum is your typical, you should select this stock and that bond.
Mhm.
But there's more to it than just this.
Mhm.
Helping the families. There's so many unrecorded hours that we've put in just to make sure that this family gets their money.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but and
that.
that's the relationship aspect, you could be with just a broker, you could be with, just kind of the assets, but
Mhm,
the financial advising is the relationship, and it's a fantastic relationship. I like to say, Jose, that you're kind of the therapist, the counselor, the
mhm,
educator, the, best friend, whatever it is, and you're accessible at all times. That's your
mhm,
job, is people
mhm,
can call you and you're there.
mhm,
So you are the most reliant friend ever.
mhm. Yeah, and it's just us trying to coordinate so many things, and going back to what dealing with I'm putting myself in the trustee, because there's a trust that was set up way before everything
Okay.
happened, and then the trustee, is in charge of distributing the funds. Legal issues in charge of doing that, and she's relying on us to help her, and but also she has a life as well. She
Mhm.
she has her own issues. I mean, and I won't get a bit into it too deeply, but her in her family, there's also health issues
Yeah.
going on at the same time as all of this is going on. So I, from a conscious perspective, I can't help but do everything in my power, because I just feel horrible that you just lost your sister, and now you're also going through it with other people in your family as well. And I just want to do, I mean, there's obviously very limited things I can do physically,
Mhm.
but I just want to help her, uh,
Mhm.
in every way I can.
Yeah.
So, so we're holding her hand through this process, which is, I think, is very important. I wish more advisors would do it, but not, I haven't heard many advisors
Mhm.
do this. But I just want to kind of give you an example of one of the things that we coordinate with our team, and the coordination with the CPAs and the estate planning attorneys, and even Ed Slot is getting involved in this process. The first thing is, getting with our CPA team. They, kind of determine, okay, in this whole estate, when we're trying to distribute these funds, will we need to file an estate tax return? Yes or no? And then we have that discussion. And then now, um, if we do, we need to do this, and if not, we need to do that. That won't get into
Mhm.
details on that, but that kind of guidance is very important because when distributing the funds from IRAs and all these other assets, we're trying to do this the most tax efficient way because that's if we don't do this the right way, a lot of money can be lost in taxes. Um, so, and from the estate planning point of view, and since we're talking about retirement accounts, IRAs, um, a trust was set up a couple of years ago in a way that it was for retirement accounts. It was a see-through trust. What that means is that it gets to skip the trust as a because the trust was listed as a beneficiary, but because of the language inside of the trust,
Mm.
the IRA can go directly to the beneficiaries of the trust and skipping the trust. Okay, why would we want to do that? The reason we would want to do that on an IRA is because if the IRA goes to the trust and it stays in the trust, then the tax consequences inside of that trust, the tax brackets get compressed, and to
Mhm.
reach the highest tax bracket on a trust, all you need to do is show it $16,000 of income, which is very low,
Yeah.
right? So we want to avoid those tax brackets. Okay. And that's why these provisions and this language exist in these trusts for retirement
Mhm.
accounts. So that can happen. Um, so make sure that the estate plan is set up to accommodate for IRAs and retirement accounts.
Yeah.
Um,
And just a reminder, beneficiaries do trump trusts and wills, correct?
mhm. Yeah, if there's a beneficiary designation on any of the accounts, uh, uh, and it doesn't have the trust as the beneficiary, it doesn't matter what the trust says, it's going to go
Mhm.
to that what's listed on the beneficiary form. And kudos to my late client. When we did the trust, we took care of everything that we had that was in our power,
Mhm.
that was in our scope, and things that I knew that she had. But there were other things that I didn't know she had that I'm now just discovering. And she was very good at making sure that was taken care of. The beneficiary designations on life insurance policies that I didn't know existed. Um,
Mhm.
she did the change of beneficiaries. If anything, I think she used to tell me that she watched our show all the time. So I think
Yes.
that's where she got that, that's what I'm supposed to do with all these other accounts. She was a
Mhm.
very, very smart lady. And she's I think about her a lot, and
Mhm.
I I am gonna miss her. But the point is of this whole thing is that I'm just so grateful to be with a company that does this for people. We
Yeah.
will sit with the families. I had because it was, like I said, double digits of beneficiaries. I had a
Wow.
meeting. Some of them were in person, some of them were because some of them live here and some of them don't live here.
Mhm.
Where it was, you know, the it was a Teams call. It was so many people on this Teams call, just trying to tell, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, this
Yeah.
is what you need to do. This is what we're doing. This is kind of what as a recap, I was doing this is what my client and I were, late client and I were working on, and it was mainly the tax planning because if we would have finished the tax planning before any of this all would have been a lot easier.
Mhm.
It would have been uh, simpler just because we don't have to work around the tax code to make sure
Mhm.
we don't waste money in taxes. And that's kind of why we preach it all the time.
Mhm.
Doing the tax planning is very important, especially if your goal is to hand down some um, money for beneficiaries.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you brought up the the importance of taxes, because I think that's the number one thing that gets forgotten, especially when it
Mhm.
comes to that income planning or retirement planning. But really, taxes is the foundation to the house, basically.
Mhm.
And especially when you're talking about legacy and what you want to leave to your loved ones,
Mhm.
you don't want to leave that tax burden on top of them, right? We
Mhm.
we wanna try to avoid that, obviously. If you want to leave a gift, that's amazing, and we
Mhm.
don't want it to come with if, ands, or buts, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
100%.
so, Jose, I just wanna leave with kind of a positive note and maybe some steps that our listeners and viewers can maybe review with their financial advisor or think about in their own plan, or give Cooper Financial a call. But what kind of things should they check or confirm, or what opportunities are there in their plan? You talked about taxes and
Mhm.
beneficiaries. What else?
Yeah, I would say the key thing, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the financial advisor, but I think the financial advisor is kind of the quarterback here.
Yes.
And I think everybody should have a financial advisor that is a good quarterback that is willing to put in the work to coordinate with a CPA,
Mhm.
whether it's their own CPA or you have your own as a client, as a individual, or coordinate with their estate planning attorney or your estate planning attorney. But because that's what I mean by going the extra mile. That
Mhm.
that that's the extra step that we don't get quote unquote paid for to do.
So, can
And
I add something in here? Is the community you also brought up communication, and especially between all of those professionals, the CPA, the tax attorney, the estate attorney, all those things, and you. And
Mhm.
when you don't have a team of them together that should and could coordinate and communicate without you, I think that is where things can get lost. And,
Mhm.
we don't, as a client and as a listener and viewer, you should not be put in the middle of those communications,
Yeah.
because that's where things are going to get lost. And it's so amazing to have a team like Cooper Financial Group who communicates without you. So you're not
Mhm.
putting the monkey in the middle. And you can rely on a team to have those conversations, come up with a plan, get the okay from you,
Mhm.
where you're not having to come up with the questions because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's more of acting as a united front,
Mhm.
because, and I've seen it happen all the time. It's the CPA pulls you this way, the attorney pulls you this other way, and the
Uh-huh.
financial advisor pulls you the other way, and then you end up more confused than what you started with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say, find a good team that is willing to put in the work to coordinate, and to go the extra mile, for you. And that
Mhm.
is also willing to, ask the question, what happens if I pass away?
Yeah.
How does that look like for my family? Ours is very simple. Uh, they have our cards to give us a call. And then once they give us a call, we coordinate literally everybody getting together, all the
Mhm.
beneficiaries that are involved, um, and then coordinate it with also the estate planning attorney, goes in there first,
Mhm.
uh, to help everybody interpret, or they interpret the trust to everybody.
Mhm.
And they read through the provisions and kind of, okay, this is what the trust says and this is what we need to do. And then I'm also in that meeting saying, okay, these are the assets that are under that trust. And because these assets are IRAs, Roth IRAs, not Roth IRAs, this is how tax wise they need to be distributed, and these are the uh, legal IRS guidelines on how they should be handled. And
Mhm.
we explain all that to everybody, and the goal would be for us to take care of everything so they don't have an extra thing to think about, because they're also going to be, selling their house,
Yes.
doing the estate sales, preparing the funeral. There's other things that they need to be worried about, and grieving. Grief is a very, very important thing. I'd rather them worry about that and then let us take care of this for them.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think maybe some green flags that I wanna leave with our listeners and viewers to check in with their financial advisor or to kind of see if their financial advisor is currently doing these things. But some green flags are is that professional asking you questions, or are you only asking them questions?
Mhm.
And I think, what you're saying, Jose, is that at Cooper Financial, you guys come with the questions to ask
Mhm.
because you are prepared and
Proactive is the right
are
word.
yes,
Yeah,
proactive,
proactive.
and you're guiding them into the right direction rather
Mhm.
than if you aren't being asked those questions by your financial advisor, you don't know what you don't know. How are you
Mhm.
supposed to go in and expect to make up this whole plan all by yourself? Or are
Mhm.
they being your guide and taking you in the right direction?
Yep, and there's a big difference between order takers and proactive advisors.
Correct.
And the right answer, by the way, is the proactive advisor, not the order
Yes.
taker. And because that's the problem. When you have an order taker, they just do the bare minimum. They do
Mhm.
what you ask them to do, and then that's it. They don't go above and beyond because you didn't ask them to
Mhm.
do anything else, right?
Mhm.
But it's about being proactive and just doing the right thing. That's just the way I see it. I mean, that's why I love Brad and our the way that we are set up as a company, that we have the liberty of doing that. I don't have
Yeah.
to go through all this corporate bureaucracy to just do the right thing for the client.
Yes, yes, and that's what I completely wanna piggyback on that. There's no rule book. There's nothing that says that you have to do this or we have to do it this way. You coordinate every aspect to a person's individual lifestyle, their goals, their plans.
Mhm,
I mean, everything. There's no rule book that says it has to be this way, and I
mhm.
love that. You almost break the rules. You break the
Well,
norm.
it's yeah, break the norm. I break the norm, not the rules.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, let's leave anything else that we wanna leave with our listeners today, Jose?
No, I just wanted to, today was just a episode from for me to speak from the heart, and it's an experience that I we're going through, that I wanted to
Mhm,
share so people know, maybe know what they might not know,
yeah,
and prepare emotionally, physically, logistically for all of these things, because it's not easy, and people think people are not probably not aware that it's very difficult,
mhm,
for just logistically for all these things to get done. And I just wanted to bring awareness to the situation so other people are prepared.
mhm. Yeah, and I think that there is also something to be said for having a written plan in place,
Hmm.
for you to be able to look back on when you're not so calm, when
Hmm.
uncertainty rises, or when your family, for your family to look back on to see what
Hmm.
your wishes were or what you were thinking. Just having that written plan with a professional will really guide the uncertainty in life.
Hmm. 100%.
So Jose, will you share how our listeners and viewers can get a hold of you? And I know that you offer a complimentary consultation just to talk about goals and talk about if you guys fit.
Yeah, yeah. And so you can come to our website, the show website, financialarmorshow.com, or give us a call at 888-390-5277 to schedule uh, that complimentary, no obligation call. Another thing that we also do for a lot of people is we have a get ready guide
Mhm,
of, again, trying to be proactive. We have a guide that we give to people before anything happens. And essentially it's just a
mhm.
checklist of things. Okay, I have this and this, state getting organized, and getting all your ducks in a row before somebody passes away.
Yeah.
Now, and it's just some just so they have it, and we've been very proactive about creating that for people and handing it out. So if you wanted to get a copy of that as well, give us a call.
Yeah, and I love that. I'm one that loves resources and loves having something to walk me through step by step, and to honestly think critically about my own life.
Hmm.
Sometimes you don't realize the things about yourself or about your intentions or goals unless you're prompted to. So it's nice that you guys have so many resources that prompt those ideas, and kind of just your inner emotion about it. So thank you, Jose. What a fantastic episode. I love talking about real stories and really putting them into perspective for our listeners and viewers. So that does it for this episode of the Financial Armor Show with our host, Jose Rodriguez.